Hey everyone, and welcome back to TV5 News at 9. It is time now for Aging in Style with American Retirement Advisors. Of course, joining us now, we have President and owner Joe Vitale. Joe, thank you so much for calling in. How are you?
Doing good. Good morning, Blake. How you doing?
Doing great. Thank you for being here. And also, just for our viewers at home, don't forget about Joe's newsletter. You can get financial news and market updates and so much more. So make sure you scan the QR code for that. It's Financial Vitals. But on today's topic, how this election may affect your retirement. So we all know the midterm elections are here. We've seen the market come up a little in the last month, Joe. So what happens to the market historically around election season?
Well, yeah, that's the question is, we do have historic data. Everybody's like, oh, is it better to have, the Democrats have had the presidency, the House, and the Senate, and is that better to have it, or should the Republicans have it, or should it be mixed? Well, historically, they actually like when there's a little checks and balances. So depending what happens here is, if there is a blended House and Senate, if we have one party or another switch over, when that happens, it actually bodes better for the market. Why? Because the market likes to see some accountability. If whether right or left, whether all of them go through in one, the market doesn't like that as much. So depending what the outcome is of the election, then we'll see. Historically, we can kind of see things change accordingly. Now, that being said, that doesn't take into account. We're still seeing, and we're going to get into this too, with inflation and interest rates and everything else. So we have seen a little rebound in the market. Is it going to last? It's hard to say. We're hoping to see that it does come up a little bit.
All right, so stand by on that for sure. Thank you, Joe, for explaining that. Is it a good time right now, you think, to get back into the market, maybe if we've been sitting on the sidelines?
It's one of those things where some people, when the market has, like, we're down anywhere between 12 and 35% this year, depending on what you're looking at. The Nasdaq's down almost 35%, even with a little bit of it coming up. The techs have just been hitting hard.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have already moved to cash. And the hard thing is they did the same thing when 2000 happened. They went into cash, didn't get in until it was way too late, missed a ton of upside. So nobody really has that crystal ball. I mean, we'd be all rich if that was the case. So it's like, if you're going to go to cash and you say, well, I'm going to get back in now. The wisdom is, if even look at the Great Recession of '08. When that happened, you were made whole in 4 years. But yeah, if anybody got into cash right or got back in, who knows that time? And that's why it's good to make sure that you don't just make knee-jerk reactions and come out of the market, wait to come back in at the wrong time. Have money on hand for your expenses, but keep invested for the long term. If you don't have the risk tolerance to ride it out, to keep the ups and the downs, you really probably shouldn't be in the market, because you have to have a certain little bit of risk tolerance to be in the market. But you need to have money on the side regardless.
All right, thank you for that. And you mentioned this a little bit ago. We were going to get into inflation and a possible recession. So what can we expect this year and going into 2023?
Well, I don't mean to be smiling during this, because I'm not happy about it.
Right.
But, I mean, they say interest rates were transitory, or inflation was transitory, and we're not seeing that. In fact, we're still seeing that the reason the market's getting hit is they think, inflation was supposed to go away a long time ago. Well, it's not. And the Fed just raised interest rates another 3/4 point. And, because they're trying to cool the spending, cool the inflation, because it's still way up there. We're going to see it. I mean, you can say what you want to say. Anybody can say what they want to say. I'm not the biggest prognosticator, but I think we're in a recession. We're going to go into recession. I know they're trying to have a soft landing. And what does that mean? Does that mean the end of the world? No, it means that things are going to slow down. Spending is going to slow down. Prices are going to, we're going to see inflation, and the costs are still up. We're going to see a little bit of change in job market. But we've made it through before. We can make it through again. We just have to know how to make it through there. So unfortunately, I'd love to say that we're going to dodge it. I don't see it. I think inflation is going to stick around a little bit longer.
All right, thanks for those projections. And with that in mind, Joe, how can retirees manage their cash flow and income in retirement, during this unknown, I guess you could say?
Yeah, it's hard to keep up, especially I was just at the store yesterday, paying over $4 a dozen for eggs is ridiculous.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh,
I mean, it's just, but how do you keep up? Our savings aren't keeping up with the rates. You can now, well, you get maybe 1 or 2 or 3% if you're lucky out there. You can find a good money market account, maybe paying 2.5%. That's better than 0.0. That's one way to help a little bit. We are finding some guaranteed rates up to 5%, a little bit over 5% that we have. That's another great way to help out with still safe money. So you have to have safe money, and you have to have cash, because if you're with the market down, pulling money out of the market to live, you're not going to keep up. You're never going to make that money back. So, for retirees to make it through this trying time, you have to have cash on hand. You have to try to get a better rate of return. You have to have that reoccurring revenue, that income coming in every month, like your mailbox money. Every 2 weeks, have a check coming in, and then making sure that you're poised for long-term growth. So there's still a pot of money that's in the market that can still grow. So when the market does come back, you still have some long-term growth. Because the one thing we know about the market is in the last 100 years, we've had 73 positive years and 27 negative years. So the odds are in our favor of it going up, but you just have to be able to ride that through and make sure that you're allocated properly.
I think that's some, some positivity there from you, Joe,
Yeah.
right? Something to smile about there.
Absolutely, yes.
All right, so what is your best advice that you could give to those who want to maybe retire right now?
We still have a lot of clients retiring right now that what we love to do, give us a call. Because a lot of people say, Joe, I got to retire. I don't know if I can do it. We show them the next 30 years. We show them a compass, a roadmap. We lay it all out for them over the next 30 years and show them, let's have that predictable income. Let's have that money coming in like clockwork. So if you have your income taken care of, get out of debt. My goodness, if there's still a lot of debt out there, let's take care of that right away, or let's plan to get out of debt right away, or have very little. That way, the loads are off your shoulders, so you can go into retirement with a great peace of mind. We like to give you what we call sleep at night insurance, where we make sure the income's coming in, and we have got a safe bucket of money with safe returns. We can have some money for growth, but let's have some safety. Let's have some reoccurring income. Let's make sure you're allocated properly for the long haul. So definitely give us a call. We'll help you with that.
Very good, Joe. Helpful angles all over. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome, Blake. Good to see you. Thanks for everything you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you as well. And also be sure to subscribe to Joe's newsletter, Financial Vitals. And if you want more information on today's topic, you can also go to the Aging in Style page on WNEM.com.